Hello, welcome to the Sharp podcast. I'm Peter Howarth. I'm Global Clinical Scientific Lead at GSK, one of the industry stakeholders in Sharp, and I'm joined by Olivia Fulton, who is a patient representative on Sharp, and together we are talking today with Betty Frankemolle, who is also a patient representative on Sharp and one of the patient stakeholders, and we'll hear her perspective on Sharp and why living with asthma is something that people should be aware about. Olivia, perhaps you could make a start.
Yes, so thank you so much, Betty, for agreeing to speak with us. Obviously, I know you from being in the patient advisory group, and we've spoken a lot around asthma, but what are the main challenges that you find living with severe asthma?
Well, perhaps it sounds rather weird, but it's an invisible illness. So people don't see that it's serious. Last, I had an incident in a swimming pool. There was a lady with lots of perfume, and I asked if she could minimize the use of perfume in the swimming pool. Fortunately, she did, but she hardly believed until she saw how breathless I became. And air pollution, I live near Tata Steel, which is in IJmuiden, Velsen in the Netherlands. When the wind is southwest, I have to keep windows and doors closed because there's too much air pollution in the air, and then I get breathless. And further, I have allergies. It seems to become more and more. Lack of sleep, changes in my body, especially when I'm longer on prednisolone oral corticosteroids. I have to cope with my limits, and I'm not as active as I want to be, and I lost my job due to asthma. Fortunately, we have a good regulation in the Netherlands, but I miss my job. Fortunately, I'm able to do some volunteer work with Sharp.
I think that's possibly not an advantage of having severe asthma, because obviously we would prefer not to have it, but being able to volunteer and work remotely means we can stay at home in the safety of our own bubble, protected while volunteering. Because I think a lot of what you've just explained is something that the population of people with severe asthma also suffer with. It's the invisibleness of the condition, because you don't see inside someone's lungs. You can see if someone has a prosthetic leg, but you can't see that our lungs don't work. It's definitely a challenge. And I'm sure, Peter, you can appreciate that from your work as well, potentially, and trying to solve that challenge.
Very much so. And perhaps I could just pick up on a couple of things that Betty said. Perhaps I could ask you to expand on it, Betty. One is the unpredictability of severe asthma, the difficulties you face with planning your life. And the other was, you mentioned oral corticosteroids. And while they're helpful, they also have adverse consequences, detrimental effects. And we have to think in terms of asthma, not only the impact of asthma, but the impact of treatments as well.
Yeah, that's very important. But I'm happy there is prednisolone. Otherwise, I would have been dead already for many years. But the side effects are not funny at all. But you have to make a choice.
So one of the challenges is to find better treatments, isn't it, for patients with severe asthma?
Yeah, and a better understanding for doctors. And a very important treatment is to moving as much as you can. But the weird thing is, I have limited opportunities to get to the physiotherapist. Once I was already going to the lung training, I was told you don't have to come because your insurance doesn't pay anymore. 4 weeks later, I had to go as fast as possible to Davos for altitude treatment. And that's much, much more expensive.
Yeah. So perhaps I can ask you here, what would you like Sharp to achieve for you?
It's quite simple, but it's very difficult. Awareness from other people, doctors, caregivers, all people, and respect for the disease.
I think one of the things, and Betty, it's something you've spoken about a lot, and you just touched on it earlier there, about sort of exercise and moving with asthma. Looking at the the impact that other conditions can have on health, but also looking at the lifestyle changes that potentially can help, that seems to be missing in severe asthma particularly.
Must be more attention about lifestyle.
Do you find that as a patient representative within SHARP, because you've been involved in SHARP really since the beginning, do you find that your voice is heard and you feel that you have an equal standing in meetings and that your thoughts are taken seriously?
Most of the time, I feel heard and respected, and we as patients are equal to the other stakeholders, and I like it very much. And I learn a lot from SHARP. Now, my English is not my first language, you can hear that. But when I don't understand, almost everybody is willing to explain when I don't understand it or I understand something wrong. Sometimes it's funny, but I like it being involved in SHARP.
Being involved, has it changed your relationship with your doctors at all? Because I know for me that I feel more confident to speak to my doctor about sort of latest research that's happening, whereas before I may have read about it but didn't want to voice it, but now being involved, I feel I can.
Yeah, it really is. My doctor doesn't know much about SHARP, but I'm doing the UPATI education. And in combination with my work for SHARP and my UPATI education, which is development of medicines for patient representatives, my doctor listens more to what I have to say, and she tells me something what's going on in asthma. And I'm involved with guidelines in the Netherlands, and she likes it. And one nice thing, I have to make a case report for graduating, and I had some questions, and I emailed Ramesh and Apostolos, and they answered immediately, and that's very nice. I was so happy with it. I am talking about tezolizumab, which is the authorization was last month, and it will take time before it's available in England and in the Netherlands, but in Sweden they expected it within a few months. It's very interesting, so I can put that in my case. So my case will be of a better quality thanks to them.
So I'll just jump in quickly. And so Betty was saying about UPATI. UPATI stands for the European Patients Academy and Therapeutic Innovation. Just for people who weren't sure on what it was.
So Betty, can I ask, you highlighted how SHARP was important for you because it was going to raise awareness of patients with severe asthma. How would you see SHARP moving forward to help patients with severe asthma?
To go on like this, and perhaps more that the knowledge about SHARP can be improved, because when I talk to doctors in the Netherlands, most of them never heard about SHARP, and that's a missed opportunity, I think. Little by little by little, it's improving the knowledge, but that could be more. It will improve the quality and the awareness about the research.
And of course, as well, through the patient advisory group, we have the Severe Asthma Patient Day, which hopefully as well will expose more patients to the work of SHARP. Do you think that will be the case?
Yeah, that's right. That's very important. So I hope it will be very busy on that day.
And I guess this is a slightly odd question, but you've kind of already touched on it a little bit. But often we sometimes focus on being involved in research and consortium about how it benefits the sort of the wider community. But you've always almost touched on it's benefited you in ways like your English has improved and things. Have there been other benefits that you've found?
Self-confidence. My self-confidence was very poor, and it's now much better. I meet nice and interesting people, and I feel more valuable.
Have you found that you can pick and choose which projects you're involved with, or is there certain things that you want to be more involved with?
I'm most interested in multimorbidity, but I'm involved with that working group. But I can make choices about it. SHARP is also asking not me as an ill person, but my healthy part and my intellectual skills are asked for. And that makes me very happy. I feel I'm more human. And sharps let me feel you are not your asthma, you have asthma, so I can cope better with my limits and I can use my possibilities.
And I think it's important for patients to know that. So the idea of the multimorbidity study that you're part of the working group for has really been developed out of ideas from patients like yourself who find it important. And you must find that so rewarding to see that an issue that you have and many others has a lot of interest from a lot of clinicians and scientists and academics backing your ideas.
Yes, I printed the idea of Ramesh. I printed it and I gave it to my pulmonologist. And she was very interested. So my nose was happy.
I think that's an excellent example, really, that all the stakeholders in SHARP have equal standing. And the aim of SHARP is to orientate the needs around the patient needs. And so without the patient involvement, SHARP would be meaningless.
SHARP is talking with patients and not to patients, and that's an important difference.
Betty, thank you very much, and Olivia, thank you for sort of driving the questions.
If you'd like to hear more podcasts about the work being done by SHARP from the perspectives of different stakeholders, then visit the SHARP website at europeanlung.org/SHARP. You can also find additional information about SHARP project and research programs, as well as how to join the SHARP CRC by visiting the website.